Welcome back. It's me, John, and this is the Sausage Kerb, or at least the touring car or the tin top side of the Sausage Kerb. On this channel, we like to discuss everything to do with British touring cars and all other kind of related tin top series, especially around the British Isles, really. So, we're going to go into a little bit of news about British GT to start off with, and we're going to fly into all the news that we've not round up already in the British touring cars. If you like the sound of that, please make sure you like the stream. I know people bang on at you about liking streams, but liking the videos really helps put the video in front of like-minded people who will also hopefully enjoy it. But without me banging on further about that, we'll crack on into it. So the first thing I want to really chat about is our friend Michael Crees, who unfortunately didn't manage to secure a seat in the British touring cars like many others this season, which we think was his kind of highest, priority. But he's managed to get into the seat of a Ginetta for the British GT Championship, which I'm quite excited about. It's going to make me go to a British GT event this season, hopefully, and I look forward to seeing how he gets on there. Hopefully he can then, conjure up some sponsorship and maybe get back in a seat in the British touring cars for 2024. Who knows? But this is him here. He just says, just remember, Creasy, this ain't banger racing. So that's somebody having a little bit of a dig at the touring cars where door-to-door wheel banging and, the kind of contact that goes into British touring cars might not necessarily work in British GT racing. But I'm sure Creasy knows that. He knows how to handle these things. He knows his way around these tracks as well. And we're going to show the calendar actually, because if you fancy going along, there was Media Day, we've missed that one already. Oulton Park though, Easter weekend, it's actually weird. I think they kind of do the 8th, is that the Saturday? And then they race on the Monday, so qualifying day on the 8th, and there must be something in between, possibly not, because it'd been Easter Sunday, and then Monday they have the racing on there, so that'll be exciting stuff. I'll be keeping in touch with that. Sadly I'm away in the caravan, or I would have definitely been at that one. Silverstone 500, that's the round 3, 6th and 7th of May. Donington Park 27th and 28th of May. Snetterton 5th and 6th. They go to the Algarve at Portimao for round 7 in July. That'd be brilliant to go to that one. Brands Hatch back to Creasy's kind of home race in September, and then finishing off at Donington. So it looks like it's a pretty action-packed season, and I look forward to following that this season. Into touring car news, you might have seen this one already, but of course Toyota Gazoo Racing have confirmed that they'll have 3 drivers this year, which we've already covered. We didn't know who the third driver was going to be, but it was revealed that it'll be George Gamble. So they're going with Ricky Collard, Rory Butcher and George Gamble, which is a strong lineup. It'll be really interesting to see the car gods on the side there. It's going to be quite a nice looking little car, that, if that's the final livery of all 3 cars. I think George Gamble might have brought that sponsorship with him, considering he had it at his last team. But yeah, that's quite an exciting one, so let us know what you think of that one. This was quite big news for a lot of people. Jade Edwards back on the grid. She is with Team Hard this time for her 3rd season in British Touring Cars, so she's chuffed to bits. I don't think even she thought she was going to be on the grid for 2023. I have to say, I think it's good for the sport, and I'm glad she's on the grid. And I think 722 odd other people will agree, because she's had a hell of a lot of interest in that. And she'll make it on the grid with Team Hard, so that'll be interesting to see, one to watch out for. But the big news today, massive news really, I started hearing murmurings from a couple of people, but then I wasn't sure I believed it until the press release, which is that Team Dynamics will not be racing in the 2023 season in the British Touring Cars. They've said that they're going to be taking a hiatus, which obviously means it's temporary. They're going to go home, go back to the drawing board, look at the finances for what's required for them as a team or how they look going forward. I'm not sure why it's came to this, why they've broken down in their attempt to make it onto the grid for next season. To me, it looked like they were, dead certs to be on the grid. We weren't sure what car they were going to be in, etc. But you know, I thought they'd be on the grid. So it does say here on Autosport a bit by Marcus Simmons. The Midlands operation is breaking an unbroken presence as a team in the BTCC, dating back almost 2 decades, and which has included 6 overall drivers' titles, but will retain a presence via a support agreement with fellow Honda setup One Motorsport. So I don't know if that support agreement is just parts and engines or in tuning, etc., or whether that support agreement is going to go as far as to supply 2 shells or 2 cars to that team. That'll be interesting, because they've obviously got the TBLs as well. But they're taking a hiatus. They said 2 commercial blows have struck Dynamics over the winter. The first was the loss of the driver Diane Rowbottom, who brought Cataclean as a sponsor. He's way off to motor-based performance. We've spoke about that in our previous video. And the second was the late pullout of a long-time sponsor Halfords. Now that is a big one. They've, you know, it's kind of what you think about when you think about Team Dynamics is Halfords. You know, it's, as the picture says there below that we've got in today's news. So sadly, you know, commercially it's not been viable, and for whatever reason it's left them off the grid this season. So Gordon Shedden took to Twitter earlier today saying it's a bitter blow so late in the day, not only for himself but for the great team of people. Obviously there's people's jobs involved in this. There's people who had planned this year ahead around the British Touring Car season, and you know, probably making a bit of money to boot, so it's going to be really difficult for them as well. He said, "Don't be sad that it finished, smile because it happened," and then he's put hashtag driver for hire. But then his next post, which I found quite amusing, was bollocks, and this is because Autosport tweeted that multiple British Touring Car Championship title winner Dynamics is taking what is decided as a hiatus from the series in 2023, but then above he said, oh god, this is my way, get out the road. The decision means 3-time champion Gordon Shedden will be off the grid with a big X mark, and he said, bollocks, but I think he'll still be looking to be on the grid in some shape or form. There's no way that he's been planning to do this in 2023 and then it's just suddenly off the table. So I'm guessing that he'll be looking for a drive in some shape or form. I don't know how that happens or where there is any space. I've not even looked at our silly season update, which I will look at and I will do a little video on, but I'm not even sure where he can pop up. I know Cal Boardley has still got a license, TBL license, and obviously Dynamics have 2. Whether Shedden can somehow loan that and get a shell and race elsewhere, don't know how the funding works for that. But it is a shame because Team Dynamics, I mean, they did say there that they've not had a break from the sport, but I believe they have. I believe they were under a different name when they were Rimstock, and Dynamics were actually out of the sport between, I wrote this down somewhere, 2000 and 2003 as Dynamics. So, but they've won a fair few championships as well. I think Matt Neal's won 3 and Shedden's won 3. We've even had Johnny Herbert. I think he had 2 rounds. I think round 8, maybe 3, round 8 to 10, one weekend in 2009. And yeah, they've got a huge following, a massive following. So it'll be an interesting gap to kind of fill in the British Touring Car season next season. And it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you are a fan of Team Dynamics, and if you are you gutted about this, or do you think it gives opportunity for someone else to shine? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure we will find out. I've pressed a button that nobody wants me to press. So tomorrow there's going to be another livery reveal, 8:30. I can't cover it because we're going away. Well, I'm working and then we're going away. But let us know who it is. What car does it look like? It says new challenger. My guess is it's Cal Boardley or Nick Hamilton, and that could be another Cupra, which I know people will grumble at. Or is it something completely different? I tend to think that that's another Cupra, but we will find out in the morning. don't know if all my news is changing there at the bottom. There should be more in that little slideshow than just Crees and his GT car, but that's cool. Right, anyway, and the final thing that I wanted to say was we've only got 16 days, 15 hours, 3 minutes and 50 odd seconds until it's go 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 for the first round. So let us know if you're going to any of the races this year. If so, we could probably bump into each other, have a beer. We're definitely going to Donington, and we look forward to it. So yep, cheers, give this a share, give it a like, fire a comment in there, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.